Nope, you're good.
Aloha, I am the Draft Specialist, and I am on another brew tour here in Petoskey, visiting Beards. I am sitting with Peter, the co-owner of Beards, and we are sitting at the brew pub today, getting the lowdown. We just visited the brewery, and looks like expansion is in the works sometime in the future, but really you have to check out the brew pub. This place is amazing. The views are almost as good as the beer. But before we jump in, the first thing I noticed is when we sat down, what can you tell me about these tables?
Yeah, so we have a variety of tables here. This is like slab tables with live edge. This table we're sitting at and the one behind me is a walnut. And my uncle has a hardwood business in town, so we went and picked the slabs out. We kind of built out the tables ourselves. We did have a guy do a finish on them. There is some tables over there from the original pub where we also had slab tables, and those we did completely from scratch, even built some of the table legs for us.
Wow.
But this is walnut, we have maple, we have some Georgian pine. Not all the wood's from northern Michigan, but quite a bit of it is Michigan sourced wood as well. And if you look around, we have a lot of different wood around here. There's also like, I'm trying to think of some of the other, we use like spalted birch. If you go out this way later and look up, there's like all these boards up against this wall.
Okay.
Yeah, and just kind of like decorative and also help with sound to kind of break it up. That's a spalted birch, which has got a lot of character. And there's red elm in the bathrooms for the counters, and lots of different.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you've been at this location for how long?
We opened in June of 2017 here. We opened originally in 2012. And we do run our original pilot, the original brew house, which is now our pilot brew house, runs here. And then several of the draft lines come right from what's brewed here every week.
Right on. And that's all downstairs?
Yep, yeah.
Excellent. And you were saying that was a one-barrel system, the original one barrel?
Yeah.
That started Beards. Very cool. On Peter's recommendation earlier, I tried the Copper Star Galactica, and it is extremely unique for an IPA. I've never had hops like this before. You were telling me that you add a little bit of pomegranate to kind of bring the fruitiness a little more forward, but it is surprisingly bitter on the finish. The nose is amazing, the palate is even better. I highly recommend checking this one out while you can, because it's only available on draft right now, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much always available on draft at the pub, but yeah, we don't currently distribute it anywhere other than maybe a special event here and there, but yeah.
It's definitely one to check out. And so I've got a fun little question for you.
Yeah?
If you were standing at a retail store next to a consumer, why would they choose your beer?
I think probably what we often talk about, kind of a multi-tier approach to our beer, balance and quality and kind of a service behind the beer. So I think they kind of flow together. At a retail account, I mean, we're going to service the accounts, we're going to work with accounts, we're going to do tastings, we're going to do things that are a good value add for consumers, to get a chance to try it. And they can be confident in the quality. We have a little bit of a lab, and we do a lot of QC checks prior to beer going out to make sure it's ready, especially because we're not pasteurizing the beer. So pasteurizing can it's a double-edged sword. It makes the beer a little safer, but if you're doing quality checks and you know where the beer is at, you can make sure it's pretty stable and should be quality when reaching the consumer. And then we also, the balance point, I think, is one of our big selling points. A lot of guys are trying to go so crazy with what they're doing. It's hard, to have quality. If you're adding a lot of odd ingredients that you might get re-fermentation or you don't have control over. So there's that aspect of it, but also we want a 6-pack that people want to have the next one, and buy a 6-pack and not just a single that's like, hey, this was fun, I had this wild, wacky beer, but on to the next thing, right?
Precisely. I understand. Excellent. Also, I see a nitro faucet. Any hopes to put a nitro on?
Yeah,
in the works?
We put a nitro faucet there, and summer's just that time of year. It's too crazy. And the first year here was like, we can't do anything new. We were just struggling to keep half the taps running, and that's why I told you we added this year more tanks in Charlevoix to help those main lines. Freed up some of the smaller tanks to do more variety, whereas last year it was like all our small tanks were just the same beers, you know, because just to keep the main lines going. So yeah, we're hoping this fall, winter to have some nitro options.
Sure.
We are working on those right now.
Any particular styles in mind, or just?
I mean, they definitely have some darker beers. I like darker beers. I think I've had IPAs and stuff on nitro, but
I think it's lost.
Yeah, to me, it's like I prefer. We do have like a British pale ale that I think would be pretty good on nitro. Yeah. You know, and because a lot of British styles tend to be lower carb, right, is part of the thing. And that they got more of a malt characteristic to come through, whereas I think a lot of times the carbonation really helps brighten those hops. So you take like a big IPA that's supposed to have these bright hop flavors and then dull them down with not having CO2. I don't know. So we're probably more in line towards darker beers.
Right on. Well, can't wait to see that update.
Yeah.
Hopefully have something by the season's end.
Actually, 2 of the faucets can be nitro.
Okay.
I would have to switch the head, but we have gas plumbed to 2 of them with a switch valve. So
got it. Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
So now you can get even more variety.
Yeah.
Because I found when it comes to nitro, it's either, like you said, the darker ales, your stouts, your porters, or the fruitier stuff, your fruit ales.
Yeah.
It just helps make that pop. That it just changes the whole profile of the beer.
Sure. Yeah.
You get a little bit different flavor. I think it's a little creamier, more full flavored.
Yeah.
CO2 doesn't beat your tongue up as much.
Right.
But that's exciting. I mean, Peter, thank you so much for the invite today.
Yeah.
The view is impeccable. I mean, the pictures online don't do it justice, and the pictures online are awesome.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for having us. I cannot say thanks enough. I just want to shine as much light on this area as possible and bring whatever I can to Beards, because this is a must stop for anyone who wants to do brew tours. Anyone who wants to stop at brew pubs.
We bring the same beer quality to our food as well, which is important for what we're doing here. You know, to bring the whole experience so that you can kind of pack it together. And pairing dinners are one of my favorite things. So having food with the beer can make new flavors and experiences.
Oh, absolutely.
So we do pretty much everything from scratch in our kitchen. We have a bakery in the kitchen and make all our own hamburger buns. We make the pizza dough fresh every day. So those things aren't frozen. Makes a big deal of flavor, you know.
So your passion and quality is in everything.
Right.
Absolutely everything. So I can't thank you enough. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone gets a chance to come up to Petoskey and check out Beards. It is in a can't miss location, front and center, just before, I mean, it is at the tip of downtown, just before the lakes.
I used to tell people, like, because we were in the back of a building, kind of hidden at our old pub, and so people liked the mystery of finding it, but we're calling, like, how do I get in? Like, where's it? Now I'm like, if you can't find it, then I don't know what to tell you. It's like on the highway and like the main road to town.
Right on. Well, thank you so much. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
See you up here soon.